Because I put the computer in there. I don't know. Someone can log in and put it on there. I get it started in here, but because I have to make a phone call, but then I'll come in.
So do you think like just like no, I was just gonna listen. No one can see you and I. We did.
You guys can mute your microphones so that we don't have any interference during the recording. That'd be awesome. We'll get started shortly.
Salad and eggplant fries, and then you think for the gluten-free, just get a gluten-free pizza? You think that would be fine? Yeah, because I'll have gluten-free pizza and salad, I think. Yeah, and then the veggie, so that way.
I muted everybody, so you guys might have to unmute Shannon, Richard, and Amber, okay?
Sounds good. Did you want us to go ahead and pick it up then?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, we're game. We're recording.
Okay, all right then. I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick here. Is this displaying correctly for y'all?
Yeah, you're good, Richard.
Okay, awesome. So thank you all for joining today's webinar. This is, I believe, year 3 of doing these kinds of administrator-focused webinars, and excited to kind of join y'all again today. I know we have the beginners one for today. A lot of you may be new to IRIS or new to the application season. You kind of like to know the general overview of what to expect for this coming season, and some tips too as well. Naturally, I don't know if of course, you may know that like we have the Thalamus guest today, of course. We'll definitely introduce them, or we can introduce each other when we get to those first parts. Starting with the IRIS section for today, my name is Richard Peng. I am on the account management team at IRIS. I've been at the AAMC for almost 10 years now, working with administrators, working with program directors, students, and of course, student affairs too as well. But today's focus is going to be y'all's experience in IRIS, and I'll try to at least keep my section really strictly just to the general overview so that we have as much time as possible for Thalamus, since that's such a hot topic today. So again, for my section of the agenda, I'll just be talking about the overall IRIS process, the residency opening, what to expect then. I'll talk about just kind of navigating the application a little bit. If time permits, I'll kind of show that a little bit in terms of staging. And then I'll talk about these 3 topics: experiences, signals, and geographic preferences, just because these tend to be the kind of highlighted areas, at least for these the seasons coming up, in terms of what your PD might be expecting in terms of pulling and reviewing applications. And of course, I know we have the chat for Q&A, and I'm sure we have time at the end to take questions live as well. So starting with the overall timeline and process, we're already kind of heading into this season already. Technically, it started back in June in terms of the applicant experience. They've been in the system to fill out their application material, their documents, uploading their letters, uploading their exam transcripts, things of that nature. And for you all, you may have already signed into the IRIS system to register your participating status, opt in for program signals, maybe to opt in for Thalamus tools as well. That was also a part of the registration process. The next big date is going to be September 25th, right? So this is the residency cycle opening for programs to receive and review the MyIRIS applications and their respective application information too. So what should you anticipate at that point in time? At that point in time, you should be seeing the applications, the applicant's documents, like their MyIRIS application. That's kind of like their resume almost. It's built into it. Whether you're viewing it in the PDWS, or the Program Director's Workstation, or in Thalamus Cortex, these are kind of the data points to expect in terms of program signals, documents like their medical student performance evaluation and transcripts, their board examinations and scores, personal statements, photographs, their letters of recommendations. And then for those of you who are working with international medical graduates, these are students that are applying from a foreign medical school. You may see even ECFMG status reports from them. So again, one of the biggest things coming into that is just make sure that your roles in the respective systems are properly granted. You want to be able to hit the ground running, even maybe a day or two beforehand or a week beforehand, just to set up your system and your process, and make sure that your reviewers, your PDs, and maybe your colleagues like yourselves are able to get into the PDWS or into your respective tool that you're utilizing. Shannon might actually cover this part already, but I'm just going to do this very briefly. Last year, we announced the collaboration between AMC and Thalamus. And this is kind of why Thalamus is such a hot topic for today, right? Like these three tools on the left-hand side is a complementary service that it kind of takes the place of the PDWS interview scheduler. And so the interview scheduling and management, the itinerary building, and the data and analytics that you're able to kind of use for process improvement, those are all complementary. And if you opted in that registration process that I mentioned earlier, you should be able to access that for this coming season. And of course, on the right-hand side, these are the additional Thalamus features or tools, Cortex and Thalamus Video, that are available for an additional fee. So in terms of like the recruitment flow, I really like using this slide just to kind of give you an idea of like the step-by-step, like when you first receive the applications, go through application reviews, where might you dip your toes into IRIS and the PDWS, and where might you have different options. So when you first receive the applications, this is going to be through the program director's workstation. It's not going away. The filters are still there. Last year we did basic filtering, the rules on that, what that means when you're going in to kind of sort and slice and dice your applicants. We have a number of recorded webinars you can take a look back at if you're interested in how that works, but that's still there in terms of the initial reception of those applications. And that's what I'm talking about on September 25th. That's when the curtain unveils and you can start taking a crack at those applications. Then following that, of course, you kind of slice through those, you figure out which applicants fit your minimum baseline criteria for your program. This is part of the application review. And at this point, you have two options, of course. You can continue to use the program director's workstation. This is maybe what you might have traditionally seen in the past in terms of looking at the different documents that I mentioned earlier, printing out application material and divvying it up with your reviewers, things of that nature. Or, of course, if you have the purchased product of Cortex, that could be also another tool that you could use for application review. And then last but not least, after the application review, when you go into the interview portion, not really last, but the next step there, that's where the PDWS interview scheduler is no longer available, and the Thalamus Core complementary interview management tool, that's what's going to be used or available for you in terms of interview scheduling tools. Now, across the board for all of these different products, as you can see, there's the API that both of our teams in terms of at IRIS and AAMC and Thalamus is working really hard at for the past year. And so this API essentially just kind of builds the bridge between the two systems so that when you're trying to transfer your applicants in the application review process or even in the interview process, it's a very simple process. It used to be that you would have to download all the application material and then, or applicant material, and then export it and then import it into the other system. Right now, it's as simple as just checking the box next to the applicant's name, authorizing it, and then it shoots it right over and it's available throughout the rest of the season, and it updates automatically too. So definitely, I'll show that in like a staging in the next few slides. The very next slide. So again, it's a very simple process in the PDWS. If you're looking at the current results view of your applicant list, maybe you've done a filter already and you figured out which applicants you want to select to interview, or maybe you have all the applications that you want to review within Cortex. All you have to do is check the box next to that name. And then on the top right-hand side in the action menu, there's the option to authorize the data to Thalamus. You can do it individually, one applicant at a time. You can do it multiple applicants at a time. Again, if you want to filter for those applicants and select all those applicants within that filter group and authorize them, that's a fantastic kind of streamlined way to send your applications over. And feel free to let me know if I'm going too fast, if you want me to go back and cover an area. Even in the Q&A section, I'm more than happy to go back and cover any parts that I went through a little bit too quickly. Okay. So the next piece that I wanted to cover was just the application content itself. We actually updated this last year, but for those of you who are new, these are kind of the main focuses when you're reviewing applications and what your program directors and reviewers are really looking at. The first one is, of course, experiences. Applicants can have up to 10 experiences that they can include essentially in their resume portion of their application. Of those 10 experiences, they can select up to 3 of them to identify as their most meaningful, right? You got to put you all know that there's so many applications that come into your system. This is a quick way for your reviewers and your PDs to see, oh, of all the experiences that this medical school student has gone through, these are the top 3 things that they feel really defines who they are. And so for those kinds of experiences, they obviously have additional details. This is where you can filter on it. This is where you can kind of screen those applicants and give them plus or minus points if you have any sort of rubric associated with the review process. Another helpful piece of information is the impactful experiences. This is kind of like the small little statement that they can have to indicate any sort of major obstacles or challenges that they've faced. Around 50% of applicants actually fill out this information. Not all applicants will have a significant challenge or obstacle in their life experience. So just keep that in mind as you're reviewing this part of the application. Here's just other kind of details that you can screen and filter on in the PDWS, or what you can keep an eye out for in terms of details about the student's experiences. And then the next piece is going to be geographic preferences. You may hear a lot that either on the program sides or on the applicant side, where they end up is going to be really important, right? Maybe they want a really sunny residency program that they want to be at. Maybe there's a particular institution with the brand name that they really want to be at. Maybe they have family and friends at a particular part of the US that they really want to be close with. And so the geographic preference is one of those data points that allows an applicant to share that preference. So they can send up to or select up to 3 different geographic preferences or US Census divisions. They're able to provide a short description for why for each of those selections. And additionally, they can provide additional details like setting preferences and location information as well. Yeah. So when you get into PDWS, these are kind of the breakouts of what you can screen for. Obviously, you would probably screen for applicants that had a preference for your region, or you might screen for those applicants who had no preference. Basically, they're willing to work anywhere in the US. But the idea is, of course, that this gives you one more data point that you can review applicants with among the others available data points. And so how does it display? If applicants indicate a preference for your division, it will let you know that, as well as an explanation. If they have a preference for another division, no information will be displayed. If the applicant indicates no division preference, meaning they're willing to work anywhere in the US, including your program and your location, no preference would be the information that is displayed, as well as an explanation. And then last but not least, if they skip the question, again, no information will be displayed. And then the last kind of big data point that is a hot topic right now is going to be program signals. You all in family medicine, you have 5, each applicant has 5 signals that are allocated to them for your specialty. Overall, there's a 93% participation rate for programs, so you know that a lot of applicants are going to use this tool and send these signals to your programs. There's a couple guidance pieces here, but the main recommendation I have here to save time is take a look at the website and research material that is available online. There's a lot of research that's available on how applicants are utilizing it, how programs are using it in terms of interview conversions. And so again, this is a great place to kind of start. It's one data point that will be screenable in the PDWS, and I believe as well in other Thalamus tools as well. So how does it display for you all? If an applicant sent a signal to your program, you'll see a yes, they sent that one of their 5 signals to you, which means that they express high interest in your program among the other programs that they applied to. If the applicant did not send you a signal to your program, no information will be displayed. And then last but not least, if the applicant skipped this question, no information will be displayed as well. Okay. You all don't worry about the asterisk at the bottom here. You all have a single tiered strategy, meaning they only have 5 signals and there's no difference between like a gold or silver. If you had a 2-tier signal, then you would see instead gold or silver. So if you see that in like a slide or you see that in another environment, just know that you all will just get a yes or no information is displayed. And again, this is something that you can build a filter for in the PDWS to find which applicants have signaled your program and those who have not. And so again, I tried to keep my section brief. I know I'm at the last minute here. Again, what I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions about the basics of filtering, basics of navigating or registering, I highly recommend the welcome webinars or the overview webinars that are already available in recordings. I can send you a link in the chat later on to let you know where to find those, but those are great places to start as new users to learn the PDWS. And then we also have a few more webinars in the month of September and October, just as a check-in point around that opening time, so that if you have any questions, you're unsure of it, you can pop in, ask a live question, and we'll be able to support you from there. And last but not least, we have a support desk or AMC support center. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. They have generally a 1 business day response time. Maybe you've had calls, but you have colleagues who have called them before. They can walk you through the filters. If you're having sort of technical issues, they can also help you with that too. Just keep this handy so that you can reach out during the season. They're going to be a crucial resource for you when you need that quick information at the phone call. So I think that's pretty much it, at least the time that I have allotted for today. If there's other kinds of questions that you have or you want me to demo something, we can always catch those towards the end during the Q&A. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Shannon, I believe.
Yes.
And she'll share what's exciting for Thalamus this year.
Thanks so much, Richard. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for inviting me and my team, Amber, who's also on the call, for inviting us to come and chat with you about all things Thalamus. My name is Shannon Papazian-Kruski, and I have been with Thalamus a little over 3 years, and I am one of 2 customer success managers. So that means my job title is I'm responsible for making sure everyone is successful in utilizing the product. And so more than anything, I want you to know you have a whole team of former program coordinators here at Thalamus that are available and willing to help you get through the system, especially as new users. We have a whole team for you. So prior to joining Thalamus, like I said, I was a program coordinator for over 22 years. So I totally feel where everybody is at. And hopefully you are seeing my screen. Richard, can you confirm you're seeing my, okay, perfect.
Yep, I see it.
So I wanted to start actually with, in the short amount of time that we have today, start off with what training opportunities do we have for you? Of course, I'm here today to give you a quick and dirty overview of the 3 products, but we have a variety of training options that we have in place for you. And we have been providing training since early January and will continue to offer training. This page that you're seeing is our Thalamus training page, and it is going to give you access to a variety of opportunities for you to learn the product. But more than anything, on the bottom of every page in Thalamus, you'll see this teal help button. That teal help button will allow you to reach out to our customer care team, and our customer care team is available to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with live people. So, and most of those live people are all former program coordinators. So I wanted to start with our training page because we're going to go really quickly today and just do a quick overview. And I want you to know that you can get hands-on, click-by-click training experience based on this page. So the first thing is our Thalamus University Online Academy. This is a new free option for you that is available 24/7. It is a series of self-guided modules that you can access and save your progress, and it is designed to be set up for workflow. So as a busy program coordinator, you want to know what you need to know right now. Like, you can worry about the end of the season when you get to the end of the season. We've designed our academy to provide courses to you for preparing preparing for the season, managing your season, getting your rank list together, and then all things from match day and beyond. And that's going to cover areas of all three of our products. Like Richard explained, we have our Thalamus core, which is our interview scheduling and management tool. Thalamus Cortex, which is our holistic review application screening system. And then last but not least, Cerebellum, which is our new data and analytics tool. In addition to the academy that you can do on your own paces at your own time, we also offer our advanced certification courses. These are 1 or 2 day courses that are available for a fee, and it does give you access to a sandbox account so that you can play for up to 60 days. We've been offering these courses also since January. We have 2 of these courses left. One is this Thursday and Friday, and our last one is on September 13th. More details available on that box. We also are offering weekly open forums where you can just come and ask us your questions. We keep the group size small, so you can come and say, help me build my itinerary, or show me how to get started. And our next one of these is exactly after this session is over at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can also see our remaining dates here. And then we offer weekly live training courses that are completely free. These weekly courses focus on one feature of the product and go into detail. Click here, going through each of the steps that you'd need to do to get ready for the season and then manage your season and beyond. Our September training schedule will be posted live today, and you will see we've added many more courses to our September schedule, and we will be continuing our free weekly live training into October. And then last but not least, we have a whole video recording library where you can watch our courses that have been recorded. We are in the process of redoing some of those as we've had many new exciting updates, but we also have a very robust training library for those tasks that are just maybe 1 or 2 minutes long. So now that you know about all of our training options and all of the resources we have for you, the next thing I want to share with you is our Getting Started with Thalamus checklist. We all love a good checklist in the world of being a program coordinator or administrator. So we have created a guide for you that will contain a checklist, and that checklist is going to show you all of the steps that you'll need to do prior to getting your applicants. So setting up your program profile, setting up your email templates, putting in your calendar dates. And then from there, we also have a roadmap checklist. These resources are going to get you through each of the steps that you'll need to perform in the Thalamus suite of products to ensure that you have a really successful season and that you're able to put the right trainees in your program at the right time. So let's take a look at the product. And again, I know I'm going really fast, but our goal is to have some time for open Q&A, or you can join us right after this at our 2 o'clock open forum just by registering on our training page. So the first product that we like to talk about is Cortex. Cortex is our application screening tool that is available for an additional fee. It is also being provided complimentary to all urology, PM&R, and orthopedic programs this year as part of a pilot with the AAMC. So you can make sure to opt in if you have not already done so to get access if you are one of those 3 programs. Our Cortex product allows you to utilize some tech-assisted review, such as our timeline, which will allow you to see all of the applicants' education and deselect, for example, if you just want to identify any gaps in medical school training. We also have a keyword feature, which will allow you to enter keywords, and the entire ARIS application will be searched. And the number of times that those keywords appear, you will see in this list. It will automatically happen for you, and you can utilize that as a filtering capability and sort applicants from keyword count to low to high or high to low. We also offer the ability for all of your applicants' publications and first authors to be automatically identified and viewed here on the quick view. You can assign your applications for review to each of your reviewers and keep track of where they are in the reviewing process and see a percentage of who has done the submission. And then you'll be able to see what each of their recommended actions are prior to selecting the button to invite them. Again, this is Thalamus Cortex, and this is our application screening tool. Within Thalamus Cortex, not only will you be able to automatically transfer all of the data, like Richard said earlier, you can view all of the ARIS data in a full page view and navigate through each of the different tabs within the Thalamus Cortex platform. And you'll also be able to select on documents and see the ARIS PDFs. As part of Thalamus Holistic Review, we have a brand new scoring platform that will allow you to create scorecards for your application reviewers. When they select on scores, they'll be able to select from a scorecard that you have created, and they'll be able to easily go through and answer any of the questions that you have put on your scorecard. The nice thing about this is that your reviewers will not see the point values until they have submitted their score, and then just see the final score that they entered for that applicant. This helps to get rid of that reviewer just drawing a line through the number 3 all down the screen, and therefore improving and enhancing that holistic review of that applicant's application. Once they've reviewed the application, they put their recommended action, and again, that will appear in your assignments bar. Your reviewers, you add them in through your Thalamus Core administration page, and I'll be showing you that in just a minute. But once your reviewers have reviewed all the applications, utilizing all of the tools, such as blinders, keywords, even applicant indexes that can tease out preferred attributes, they'll be able to mark that recommended action, and you in the administrative role will be able to easily move all of your applicants that have been selected to invite over to your Thalamus Core product for invitation by simply selecting the export to Thalamus. And just like when you're moving your applications from ARIS, those will move over via an API directly into your Thalamus Cortex product. When you are ready to start inviting your applicants, this is your Thalamus Core product. This is the section that you can get in as soon as you have access to your Thalamus suite of products, and your program page, your calendar, and your email templates are going to be the things that you can get started on. Your program page is going to allow for you to have a program profile created automatically based on the information that you put on this page. The applicant will see your program profile from within their applicant software platform. And you can see that we at Thalamus will do all the creative work for you and add it all in together based on the information that you put here. This is a place where you can get really robust with the information and think about what are those things that you normally would send applicants, such as those sample contracts, or your faculty bios, or your program aims, or links to your hospital didactic schedule, or links to your wellness pages. You can build all of that here on your program profile page, including salary information, your leadership team. You can even add attachments, and you can have your contacts and locations and weather for those of you that might be doing in-person or hybrid events. All of your social media links will also appear here, and your NRMP track information. You can also include a variety of links in the body of the email for videos, or you can embed one video that will automatically play for the applicant. So your program profile page, when you're thinking about what the heck can I do to get started right now, as soon as you have access to your platform, you'll want to get into your program page and start working on that program profile. But you don't need to worry. It's going to maintain from season to season. You will be able to always go back and access any of your archive data from this dropdown where your current season is. You'll be able to go in and access any previous seasons from year to year, and your information will feed over with the exception of your applicants and your calendar events. You also will see here on this page by navigating down, either by using your scroll button or by clicking, you'll have a variety of settings, such as if you want to enable wait lists. Those of you that are doing common release dates might want to close all your calendar events at one time and then open them. You can have an automated interview reminder email and set up sign up and cancellation locks. So lots of great things on this program page. Your administration page is also something that you can get started on now. Anyone that's going to be participating in your selection process, if using Cortex or as part of the interview process, you'll want to add them to your administration page. Here you can do that in bulk, which is a new feature for this year, by importing a CSV file, and we've even given you a template. You can add in all of your users at once and then select the appropriate role. How do I know what role I want to get my users? Well, again, in our user guide tab, if you navigate to our help center, we have a variety of resources. If I type in the word roles, I'm going to see my program user roles and permissions and giving me a breakdown of what each role has access to view and edit and which roles have view only access. As a program administrator, this is going to be one of those things you might want to just print out and put on your bulletin board while you are going through and getting your administration members set up. You can always go in and edit your users at any time as well. When you do create your users, they will then be sent an automated email asking them to create their password. And we know that sometimes your faculty and residents may not be so great about reading email. So at any time, you can come back in here and select to resend the invitation. Here is where you can also give your users access to Cortex or Cerebellum. Cortex, of course, if you have purchased that. Cerebellum, if you would like this team member to have access to your statistic data throughout the recruitment season. You're also able to set up those email templates. Many of the emails within the Thalamus platform are based on an action, therefore giving you, the coordinator, one less thing to have to worry about. When an applicant self-schedules for an interview, they'll be able to get a confirmation email automatically, no matter what time of the night it is. The difference between these email templates on which are manual and which are based on automatic functions can be explained in one of our user guides on managing your templates. But each template will come loaded with a system template, or you can customize any template by selecting on the Create New Template. So if I select, for example, on my interview confirmation and I want to create a new one, I can do that. If I want to create custom invitation messages for different types of students, such as my internal medical students or my categorical applicants, I can create multiple invitations, and that is an example of a manually sent email that I will choose which email I want sent to the applicant when I am inviting them. Once you get going in the season, your applicants will then be moved into your applicant dashboard. This is going to be mission control for your interview season, and this is where you'll be doing your inviting, watching your applicants get scheduled, or your manually scheduling applicants. It's also where your faculty will go to score applicants. And again, just like in Cortex, our Thalamus Holistic Review platform will allow you to create questions and competencies that your reviewers will utilize as part of the interview process. And you, as the program coordinator, program administrator, or program director, will be able to see all scores and all notes written on every applicant. One of my favorite features is our tag feature. Think of this as internal sticky notes. I come from the days of Eris paper applications where I would print everything out and have colored sticky notes sitting on files in my desk. Here within the Thalamus Core platform, you are able to create unlimited numbers of tags and apply those tags on an individual basis or in bulk, and utilize these tags throughout the platform, including building your rank lists. You also will have the ability to create pre-post or post-match surveys that will then appear in the applicant software platform and give you information, not just on what you'll need to know for your interview, but really great information for improving your recruitment season, utilizing data for your PEC meetings, as well as your GME reporting. Your interviews, when you are ready and you have applicants scheduled off your calendar, and let me click back to calendar. Within your calendar events, you'll be able to create first interviews, second looks, third looks, fourth looks, as well as social events. You'll see you'll have a legend of your calendar, and your calendar view will be exactly what the applicant will see within their calendar when they receive an invitation from your program. So thinking about the applicant experience this year, having one database where all of their interview invites and all of their scheduling and all of their emails and surveys are coming into one spot is going to dramatically improve the applicant experience. Here is where you'll build your calendar events, like I said earlier. And then once your applicants start getting scheduled for calendar events, you'll be able to view details and see customizable information that you can display on the calendar. Once your applicants start scheduling, you'll be able to build your itineraries, and you'll be able to build your itineraries from a manual process where you'll be adding sessions in, or from our itinerary wizard. Our itinerary wizard will allow you to enter information in each of these 7 steps. For example, I'll just navigate through and tell the system, how many groups do I have? How many group events am I going to have, such as interviews, orientations, group events such as orientations, tours, and wrap-ups, those sessions where all of your applicants are together at the same time. Then you'll be able to tell the system, give every one of my applicants 1 interview with an APD, 1 interview with a PD, 3 interviews with a faculty member. And the system will then allow me to tell them who should be scheduled. I can even force assign or avoid or prefer. And once I have those itinerary wizard steps filled in, the itinerary wizard will automatically create my itineraries for me and give me the ability to see my itineraries as they were created for each of my applicants and my faculty members. Once I have created my itineraries, I'm able then to go into my manual system, choose the date that I have built my itineraries for utilizing the wizard. And from there, I will be, let me just choose the right day there. Sorry, I chose the wrong day. From there, I will then be able to publish my itineraries. When I select to publish, I can send an email directly to my applicants or my interviewers, letting them know that their schedules are available to be viewed. That can be sent automatically, and then they would be able to see their schedules. Just confirm that. From their My Schedule view. Their My Schedule view will then show them what their itineraries look like, navigating through each of their sessions. They'll be able to see your Zoom, WebEx, or Teams links if you've put those in, or Thalamus video chat will automatically create. Your faculty members will be able to write notes and score applicants from their schedules. Your applicants will be able to see your program profile. And within our Thalamus video chat platform, I'm just going to navigate to a screenshot here. Here's an example of the Thalamus integrated video platform will also allow your reviewers to see customized information on your applicants, write notes, and write scores from directly within the Thalamus video platform. Once all of your applicants have been scored and interview days are wrapping up, your rank list is going to be automatically built for you. You can create up to 9 additional rank list types. Each rank list functions independently of each other. You can have that view in a list view or in a card view. And I can navigate through and look at additional information on my applicants that I can customize. And this is an example of the information I can customize. I can see all the notes, all the scores that have been entered on my applicants. I can choose to DNR them, set their score, set their rank position manually, either by that box or by clicking and dragging. And it'll keep track of that for me. And for example, show me in this case that this applicant was moved up 2 spots from their automatic ranking. This one shows me this applicant was moved down 4 spots. This will allow you to manage your rank meetings completely paperlessly, and then you'll also be able to export out your rank list to that NRMP text file format. Or we know that everyone in the GME world loves a good Excel spreadsheet, so we give you that opportunity as well. Once interview day and rank days have been submitted, rank lists have been submitted, on match day, you're able to mark your applicants that have matched in your program. And when you mark your applicants as matched, you'll automatically be able to create a composite that you can share with your team. Like Richard stated, everything within the platform will then feed over into, let me just move this little bar over, into your Cerebellum product. Your Cerebellum product is going to keep track of all of your statistics, starting with that first invitation that you send out. It's going to provide you with a variety of data that you'll need for your web ads and other reporting, such as your DEI recruitment outcomes that you can go through and manage automatically and deselect. You can also export all of these images, these graphs out as images, and you have a variety of filtering capability. It'll also keep track of your DEI data. So for example, identifying how many of your applicants identified as Asian and white. This DEI matrix, again, is able to be exported out in a variety of functions. You can see a geographic listing of where your applicants are coming from, as well as their medical schools, and you'll be able to scroll out and see where folks are coming from and utilize this, again, as a great way to identify key areas of the country or specific medical schools that you might want to be filtering for. You'll also be able to see your interview invitation and completion insights, comparing you to other programs of the same size in your specialty within Thalamus. So when did you start sending your invites out? When did you start your interviews? When did you wrap up your interviews? And it'll compare you to the other programs in your specialty of the same size. Again, all of these little hamburger icons allow you to export those out. And then last but not least, you will be able to see your match rank list. So once you've marked your applicants as ranked and matched in your Thalamus core product, it will automatically feed into Cerebellum and provide you with their rank position, their AAMC ID, their name, their gender, and their self-identifying factors. And you will have this data also from season to season. And on that note, that was a quick and dirty view of all 3 products, and I would love to open the floor for any specific questions for either myself or for Richard, as I know we have just about 15 minutes left. Any questions? I can see, I'm happy to show anybody anything again or talk about any of our training opportunities for you. Yes, so Amber just responded, Cerebellum is part of the ARIS collaboration. You will be, as part of the collaboration, you receive the Thalamus Core product, which is our interview scheduling and management tool. You'll receive free access to our automated itinerary wizard building tool, as well as the Cerebellum product.
Shannon, Frank had a great question, one we see a lot. For groups, if we want applicants to pick their interview date, would the default be to only create one group and assign all candidates to that group?
Yeah, so if you want applicants to be able to, and did you say not schedule themselves, Amber? Sorry, I missed that.
They should be able to schedule themselves.
Yeah. So every applicant must be assigned one scheduling group and one tier. And you can see here on my applicant dashboard, we have 3 tier options, and you can have as many scheduling groups as you'd like. Some programs get really complex with wanting to have applicants schedule for specific dates. And again, remember when you're building your calendar events, you're not inviting applicants to a specific interview time. You're inviting them to a calendar event that goes from 8 to 2 or 8 to 4. And when you do that, the applicant will then, you'll need to assign one scheduling group and one tier. When you're in your calendar events, this is how you're going to tell the system how many spots you have for interviewing that day. And if you're not going to get really complex and need specific spots for specific applicants, then just create one scheduling group and assign everyone to tier 1. How the tier system works is that tier 1 applicants can see all spots that match their scheduling group. Tier 2 applicants can only see spots that are for Tier 2 or Tier 3, and Tier 3 applicants can only see spots for Tier 3. You don't have to get that complex. Like Frank is asking, if you would like all of your applicants to be able to schedule into any calendar event, then you'll want to just create one scheduling group and assign everybody to Tier 1. This will allow the applicant to choose from any of your calendar events that match their track and tier. Anyone else? I see some familiar names on the call. So anyone have any questions at all?
I had one question about scheduling.
Sure.
What would I need to do if, people have scheduled themselves, but then they make a change?
Yeah.
And I've not been finding out about that unless I'm going through and double checking everything. Is there a notification?
So one of the nice things is you can enable that daily email to come to you that will show you all of the scheduling activity that has happened in your program for the last 24 hours. You can also view from the reports feature. On our action log, you'll be able to see all of the activity that has happened on your applicants since day 1. So I would suggest as good practice, 1, turn on that email notification so that you get that. And 2, just make it part of your daily practice when you come in to take a look at your action log report, and you can see who's canceled and rescheduled, if they've withdrawn, if they just went ahead and scheduled. All of the activity that an applicant performs in your program is going to display on this activity log, and that action or that notification email of the daily digest would come every 24 hours as well.
And where do I find the email notification?
So on your program page, if you scroll all the way down to other settings, you'll see this enabled notifications button. You'll want to make sure that's teal. That's a nice tip. Anytime in the product where you see teal, that means something is enabled. So you'll want to make sure that's enabled. And then within your administration tab, you would just navigate to your profile and make sure that that daily digest email is on for you. So the first one will enable it for your program. The second one will enable it for the individual user.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love questions, everyone. So please keep them coming. Or if you have anything for Richard, I don't want to hog everything, Richard. You're more than welcome to talk about anything else you need as well.
Yeah. Let me hop in for the couple of questions about
Please.
the I guess the API. So the question goes, does the Thalamus interview markers automatically link to areas for reporting, or will we need to tag applicants with appropriate tags? And correct me if I'm wrong here, Shannon. In terms of like the data coming back to the PDWS, the scheduling portion of the PDWS is not existing anymore. The only status that's really left in terms of interview scheduling is selected to interview. And that's just a manual one to indicate if you're using not Thalamus and you're just using like a completely different vendor, or you're using your personal email, like that's an option for you to track that in the PDWS. But it doesn't necessarily report back to the PDWS itself. But as mentioned before, those scheduling statuses, the trackers, those do go into Cerebellum, right? Because
Yes.
that's the data that really helps with reporting at the end of the year. If you all had any experience with your DIOs using the DIO analytics in Iris and the AAMC, that same kind of data in terms of like the interview scheduling data, the applicant statuses and those things, that's like the equivalent that's been fed into Cerebellum for this coming year, and that's why that's also been retired. Anything to add there, Shannon, for the
nope.
reporting? Okay.
Nope, you got it. You're straight. You got that straight. I do see a really quick question about how do you set up time with a trainer? So our Thalamus training opportunities, again, are going to be found on that training page. You can attend one of our paid ACS courses where you get a full day or 2 days with a trainer. Or you can take one of these free live courses. We also do offer custom training options for institutions and programs if they would like some specific training, and there's more on that page.
Awesome. And then let me take this next question too, as someone from an institution who has experienced some difficulties with DEI initiatives. Are there any like legal or institutional barriers to reporting DEI metrics in ARIS or ACGME? For that, I would definitely consult internal legal departments, just because even with the Supreme Court decision, prior to the Supreme Court decision, obviously this is the residency employment application form, and so there's some considerations there to take into account with regards to things like race and ethnicity. That being said, there's kind of 2 things I want to point out. One is that's kind of why there's so many other data points that you can use in terms of reviewing an application, and those are the things that we really would want you to focus on in terms of a holistic review. And the second piece, I do want to mention this. One of the changes that we've made this year in the PDWS, and this is just to give you a heads up, and this even for those of you who are experienced, you might know what this is already, but it is slightly different. Coming into the PDWS at the beginning of the season, when you go to the setup tab at the top, there's a section for screen data. And as you can see here, this allows you as a program to individually screen or set viewable different potentially sensitive information that might introduce bias in the review process. And you can toggle this on or off through the season. For those of you who have used this in prior years, you were able to do this at the program super user level right from the get-go. But again, based on some legal review this year, this has been changed so that for some of these fields, specifically the demographic information, like the gender or I believe like misdemeanor, things of that nature, those are set so that the institution super user, basically your DIO, they would have to initially at the beginning of the year set those to either screen or viewable. If it's set to viewable, then at the program level, you can toggle that on and off throughout the season. If they want a little bit more control there, then you'll have to ask them to unscreen those data points for you. But there are, again, it's just, I believe like 13 of these data points are at that level. Things like the visa sponsorship, and I believe like maybe the photograph, or geographic preferences, that data is still screenable at the program level from the get-go at the start of the season. One other piece here is this data automatically, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Shannon, like filters over to Thalamus, and that whatever you set here will be the settings in Thalamus as well.
That is correct. Any screened fields in ARIS will remain screened in your Thalamus suite of products until you go back into ARIS and unscreen them. So you can always do that at any point and reauthorize the data to Thalamus. It will never impact the current status of that applicant or duplicate the applicant. It will just turn on those screened fields if in fact you need those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know Amber has been furiously answering questions in chat, so I really appreciate that, Amber. If you have any specific questions after we end this session, as I unfortunately have a hard stop due to another course at 2, you're welcome to register to join us at our open forum course that is immediately after this, or again, utilizing the teal help button or reaching out to customer care at thalamusgme.com. We have a whole team of people that are here to make sure that you are set up and ready to go and that you have the training that you need, not just for yourself, but also for your entire team, such as your faculty. Any other thing? You are not wrong in thinking that Thalamus Core is free to all ARIS users. Again, as part of the ARIS collaboration, Thalamus Core, our Itinerary Wizard, and Cerebellum are all being provided complimentary to every ARIS program.
And to add on to that, I know there was a question about how you can tell if you've opted in. Maybe you did a very early part of the year and you've forgotten, or maybe you accidentally went in and did no at the beginning of the season and you changed your mind. If you go to the PDWS and go to the program management tab and select whichever program that you're managing, this is where you set your participation status. It's where you indicate your program signal participation. It's also where you can do your Thalamus provisioning in terms of like kicking off that process to opt in for those services. If this is no at this point in time of the season, just reach out to the support center at AAMC. It takes maybe a business day or two to kind of like convert it to a yes, and then in turn, of course, that'll kick it off so that you have access to the rest of the Thalamus complimentary services.
Yeah, and I saw earlier Brooke, who is also another one of our Thalamus superheroes. Brooke had posted that 90% of the family medicine programs have opted in to ARIS and Thalamus for this year. So you guys, for the most part, are in great shape. So if you might be one of those 10%, make sure that you take a look. Anything else from anyone?
And Cindy, you can go to the program management tab at the top. And then if you're managing multiple programs, just click whichever one you'd like to opt it in for. And then it's the very first tab in terms of ARIS participation. It's the default page. And it'll be right under where you indicate that you're going to accept applications for this upcoming season. I'll go ahead and put in the contact information in the chat, or the link at least, where you can find the inquiry form as well as the phone numbers if that's what you need. But that should be the place to start if you are not opted into Thalamus. Then.
Yeah. Did I lose you? Are you there? I think you froze, Richard.
Oh, sorry.
Are you there?
No,
Okay.
I think I caught the question of the program being already opted in and where to access it. And then I realized maybe the question was about the Thalamus tab at the top right-hand side. This is just kind of a quick link to go to Thalamus Core, Cerebellum, or Cortex. If you don't see that, it's likely potentially a role. Like if you don't have like a program specific role or review or a program coordinator role or reviewer role, I believe that might be the issue. But I would contact the support center if you're opted in, but you're still not able to access those services.
Yeah, and Cindy, if you haven't received your email that lets you know how to create your Thalamus account, such as your password and whatnot, please reach out to customer care at thalamusgme.com, and we'd be more than happy to take a look and see if maybe the person that did the opting in Thalamus didn't add you to the administrative tab yet. All right. Well, thank you so much for the invitation on behalf of all of us here at Team Thalamus. Again, please don't forget you have an entire team of former program coordinators that are here and ready and willing to help. And don't feel like you can't reach out or don't feel stuck at any point at all. We're just a click away with that teal help button. Thank you so much.
So
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Richard and Shannon.
You're so welcome.
I'm going to stop the recording now, but is it all the questions that we have? Are there any other questions?
And I'm actually going to have to hop off so I can go to the open Q&A. So if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to join that link on the training page, and I will see hopefully some of you very shortly. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. See ya. Thank you so much. Richard, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, see you next time. Thank you so much for having us. Bye.
Bye, guys.